Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that husband is obliged to pay nafaqah to wife even if he is poor. Misbah al-Hussein Foundation and IHC distribute 1 million bottles of water to the Arba'een pilgrims. Public Relations Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi provides required bread for Arba'een pilgrims at Mehran border. Imam Hussein Holy Shrine employs artificial intelligence technologies to count Arba'een pilgrims. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. The daily scholarly meeting of Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi was held on Monday, the 11th of Safar. In this session, like the previous meetings, the Marja answered the questions of the attendees about various jurisprudential issues. In this meeting, Grand Ayatollah Shirazi discussed nafaqah and financial support and said payment of nafaqah to wife is absolutely obligatory even if the husband is poor and the wife is rich, adding that if the husband is in circumstances where he cannot provide the nafaqah, he is obliged to borrow money and fulfill the duties as long as he does not come to harm or distress. He explained that one's relatives are divided into two categories, linear and non-linear, with linear including the father and mother and the fathers and mothers of the person, as well as the children and descendants of the person. Then non-linear relatives include brothers, sisters, their children, uncles, aunts and other relatives and the likes. The Supreme Religious Authority stated that a person is considered poor by Islamic Sharia when he or she is not able to meet his living expenses as his status entails, and the general public opinion does not determine poverty. Accordingly, His Eminence said that if it is an individual rich and financially capable and there is a poor person among his linear relatives, then the individual is obliged by Sharia to financially support that relative and pay him or her the nafaqah. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi also further said that if a person dies and he owes nafaqah to his wife, this unpaid duty is considered a debt of a person and must be paid off before dividing the inheritance. So this nafaqah must be paid to the wife and then the remainder can be in the inheritance divided among their heirs, even if the prosperities question are the dead person's clothes and the carpet under his feet, because he does not need them after death. However, if the payment of nafaqah to relative was an obligation that a person did not fulfill during his lifetime, it is not considered a debt and not to be deducted from the inheritance. Let's watch the statements of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi.
اگه چیزی اضافه موند ارث میشه برای ورثه. اگه هیچی نداره تو روایت داره پیغمبر خدا صلی الله علیه و آله فرمودن اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد و عجل فرجهم و لعن اعداءهم. اگر پدر و مادر اگر شخصی مرد و مدیونه و پول نداره که دینشو بدن، اگه پسر پولدار داره برش واجب نی، دختر پولدار داره برش واجب نی، پدر و مادر پولدار داره بر اونا واجب نی. روایت داره پیغمبر خدا صلی الله علیه و آله فرمودن فالی و علی، یعنی بیاد پیش من گردن منم هست، یعنی واجب بر من که این دینو بدم. لہذا فقها اجماع دارن، فقهای مسلمین، حتی نواصب، کسایی که ناصبی هستن، چون فرمایش پیغمبر صلی الله علیه و آله و همه نقل کردن، اونا میگن که بر حاکم اسلامی که بیت المال پیشش جمع میشه بر اون واجبه که این دینا رو بده. تو بعضی روایاتش داره اگه حاکم اسلامی نداد دین این کسی که مرده و مدیونه و نداره پول و علیه اثمه، گناهش گردن حاکم اسلامیه. خلاصه کسی که مدیون میمیره و پول نداره، این بر ورثش اگه غنی هستن پول دارن واجب نی دینشون رو بدن، دین باباشون، دین فرزندشون واجب نی، بله کار خوبیه، بر امام المسلمین واجبه.
As part of its service and humanitarian activities during the Arba'een pilgrimage, The Misbah al-Hussein Foundation for Relief and Development has carried out its water distribution annual campaign in the holy city of Karbala. The foundation's director, Abdul Sahib al-Kishwan, told Shia Waves agency that the Misbah al-Hussein Foundation, in partnership with Imam Hussein Media Group and Imam Hussein Charity, IHC, distributed 1 million bottles of water to the Arba'een pilgrims. Al-Kishwan also noted that this campaign comes due to the importance of water amid rising temperatures, adding that the campaign also included mosques, Husseyniyat, and houses where the pilgrims are staying. He pointed out that this campaign and other humanitarian and service activities are launched based on the directives and recommendations of the Supreme Religious Authority, Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq al-Hussein al-Shirazi, to provide and meet the pilgrims' needs during Ahlul Bayt's occasions. The Public Relations Center of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi's office in the holy city of Karbala is providing the bread needed by Husseini pilgrims using a mobile bakery at the border area of Mehran. The initiative is part of the charitable activities of the center on the occasion of the glorious Husseini Arba'een of 2023. Accordingly, thousands of the loaves of bread are baked on a daily basis and distributed among the pilgrims of Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Every year, the Public Relations Center of the Supreme Religious Authority strives to facilitate the pilgrimage of Arba'een and ensure the well-being of the pilgrims in various ways, such as providing bread, ice, drinking water, and foodstuffs for Husseini Mawakib this year, in addition to the border of Mehran centers affiliated to the Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi in different cities and parts of Iraq, are contributing to the service of the pilgrims of the Master of Martyrs, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Let us remind our respective viewers of today's headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that husband is obliged to pay nafaqah to wife, even if he is poor. Misbah al-Hussein Foundation and IHC distributes 1 million bottles of water to Arba'een pilgrims. Public Relations Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi provides a required bread for Arba'een pilgrims at Mehran border. Also tonight, Beijing expands influence with the Taliban. The Electronic Monitoring Division, affiliated to the Order Keeping Department at Imam Hussein Holy Shrine, has revealed that the employment of artificial intelligence technologies for the first time to secure and analyze data and the number of pilgrims arriving to the holy city of Karbala during the Arba'een pilgrimage. The division's official, Nasser Abdul Amir, said in a statement received by Shia Waves agency that this Arba'een is the first Arba'een pilgrimage that artificial intelligence technologies are used to count the number of pilgrims depending on facial recognition techniques. He also added that this technology will also support officials responsible for maintaining security by detecting any suspicious people by analyzing the number of their appearance in front of the cameras and analyzing their routes, noting that these systems will also contribute to finding the missing people, especially when the pilgrimage is at its peak. It should be mentioned that millions of pilgrims from Iraq and other world countries are heading towards holy city of Karbala to perform pilgrimage to Imam al-Hussein and his brother Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhum as-salam on the holy day of Arba'een. And now we continue with some short news. For the first time, the Iraqi Ministry of Communications has printed special stamps to mark the great event of Arba'een pilgrimage. The official statement of the Iraqi Ministry of Communications says that the state postal company has printed 2 stamps and a postcard on the occasion of the Arba'een pilgrimage, which show the great sacrifices of Imam Hussein and his family alayhim salam, in the eternal event of Ashura, as well as the services of the Iraqi people to the pilgrims. The Iraqi Post Company has also printed a postcard that depicts the universality of the Arba'een pilgrimage and the participation of different countries in this ceremony. It has been said that these stamps and postcards will be sold in all post offices of Baghdad, holy city of Karbala, holy city of Najaf, and Husseini Mawakib and routes of pilgrims. The UK-based Who is Hussein, a charity inspired by Imam Hussein alayhi salam, has carried out a campaign to introduce the message and values of Imam Hussein in Auckland, New Zealand. The charity said in its official page on Facebook that our team in Auckland used an annual Ashura gathering to distribute flyers containing information about Hussein ibn Ali to passers-by. Who is Hussein holds many campaigns on important global issues and carries out humanitarian activities in several countries around the world. The Associated Press reported on Monday, August 28th, quoting Greek authorities that 5 people, including 4 children, died and dozens of others were rescued in 2 separate incidents involving migrant boats that were moving from the coast of Turkey to the Greek islands. The spokesman of the Greek government said that among the dead are an 8-year-old boy and 3 girls aged 14, 8 and 11 months, adding that the nationality of the victims has not been identified yet. In recent months, the sinking of ships carrying refugees has repeatedly claimed the lives of asylum seekers from different countries crossing the Mediterranean waters. France has banned Muslim women in school from wearing abayas in the French state-run schools. This new rule will be applied when the new school term starts on the 4th of September, according to the Education Minister. Wearing a headscarf in schools has been banned since 2004 in state-run schools, and this particular law comes after months of debating whether to allow women to wear an abaya or not. The announcement is the first major policy decision by Mr. Attal, who was appointed France's education minister by President Emmanuel Macron this summer. A Pakistani court on Tuesday suspended former Prime Minister Imran Khan's 3-year sentence, ordering his release on bail. A 2-judge bench of the Islamabad High Court led by Justice Amr Farooq, which reserved the judgment on Monday, announced that the short order that Khan was sentenced by a trial order court in Islamabad earlier this month for concealing details of foreign gifts he received during his nearly 4-year stint. Consequently, he also was barred from holding public office for 5 years by the Election Commission. The cricketer turned politician, who is facing a number of cases, was ousted through a no-trust vote in April 2022. He is currently incarcerated in the northwestern Attock city. In recent years, Beijing's foreign policy has taken a significant turn as to seek to expand its influence by engaging with the Taliban, an extremist group that has reigned or control over Afghanistan. This strategic maneuver is driven by a complex interplay of factors, including concerns about its Uyghur minority population and the desire to exploit Afghanistan's abundant natural resources. The evolving relationship between China and the Taliban raises important questions about regional stability, human rights, and resource management. The Xinjiang region, home to the Uyghur Muslim minority, has been a point of contention for years, with Beijing expressing concerns about separatism, extremism, and terrorism. The Taliban's influence over Afghanistan could potentially impact the Uyghur diaspora in the region, thereby posing a threat to China's stability. Apart from security concerns, China is also interested in Afghanistan's vast mineral and natural resources, with one of the largest untapped reserves of minerals in the world, including lithium, copper, and rare earth elements. Afghanistan presents a lucrative opportunity for resource-hungry economies like China's. Human rights groups have condemned the Taliban's latent restrictions on Afghan women's education and movement after it barred them from visiting one of Afghanistan's most popular national parks and stopped them from leaving for the United Arab Emirates to study in academic scholarships. Khalaf Ahmed al-Habtoor, head of Dubai-based Al-Habtoor Group, tweeted that Taliban authorities had stopped about 100 women from travelling to the UAE, where he said he had sponsored their university educations and paid for the accommodation, transportation, and security needs. After women were barred from visiting parks, fairs, and gyms, the United Nations Special Reporter on Human Rights in Afghanistan, Richard Bennett, criticized these restrictions on Sunday and asked in a social media post, "Why is this restriction necessary to comply with Sharia and Afghan culture?" Human Rights Watch Associate Women's Rights Director Heather Barr told AFP that the decision to ban women was cruel in a very intentional way, adding that step by step the walls are closing in on every woman, on every home becomes a prison. The grandson of late South African President Nelson Mandela expressed happiness over his visit to the holy city of Karbala, describing his participation in the Arba'in pilgrimage as a great honour. Mandela told reporters that it is a great honour for us to be in the holy city of Karbala and in Iraq, where Imam Hussein ﷺ, who has become a great symbol for fighting injustice and oppression, as well as to be among the people of Iraq who stood up against injustice and oppression. He also added as that South Africans, we are descended from the same suffering and a past full of injustice. We have lived 350 years of colonialism and 60 years of brutal murder, and we have received international support and solidarity from liberation movements and anti-apartheid forces. And today, we enjoy freedom as the world stands with our cause. Mandela emphasized that our presence here in Karbala is very important to evoke the role played by Imam Hussein alayhi salam in his struggle, so that we can continue to inspire the struggle against colonialism. Mandela stressed that it is wonderful to witness the massive event where Imam Hussein alayhi salam is visited not only from inside Iraq or from neighboring countries, but from pilgrims from distant countries, or come only to visit this great Imam who represents the fight against injustice and tyranny. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Grand Ayatollah Shirazi says that husband is obliged to pay nafaqah to wife, even if he is poor. Misbah al-Hussein Foundation and IHC distribute 1 million bottles of water to 40 pilgrims. Public Relations Office of Grand Ayatollah Shirazi provides required bread for 40 pilgrims at Mehran border. Imam Hussein Holy Shrine employs artificial intelligence technologies to count 40 pilgrims. Beijing expands influence with the Taliban. Rights groups criticize Taliban's new restrictions on women's education and movement. Nelson Mandela's grandson visits the holy city of Karbala and participates in the 40 pilgrimage. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves' website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of the screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the reappearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The drums beat and the flags flutter.
Feet rise and fall.